How's it going, everybody? My name is Absoulem, and today's video is showing you every single side Easter egg as well as potential lead or things that have been found but not solved in Citadelle Des Morts. We have quite a bit to cover, so let's not waste any time and get into the very first Easter egg. Let's start with a simple one and a classic, the music Easter egg. So the first part is going to be right here underneath the ramparts in the corner. The second spawn is going to be in the tavern over here on this table. And then once you have both of those parts, you can make your way down to the undercroft where this body's leaning up against a couch. And inside that duffel bag, you're going to find the third part. And that'll trigger the song. It's an absolute banger. GG's once again, Kevin Sherwood. And now we can move on to our second side Easter egg. This is the Rat King Easter egg where you have to start by collecting the cheese in this window in this spawn room. And now you need to find 10 rats around the map. If you take the right door out of spawn, you'll see this van over here. Just go prone underneath it and you'll see the rat scurry away when you look at it. Now we can move on to our second rat, which is also in spawn just to the left door. You'll see it right underneath this flower pot. Moving up the hill by dead shot from the left door of spawn, you'll see a rat right here in front of this hole. I had already done this rat, so I do apologize, but that is where it spawns. The next rat can be found up by the cannon. Just go prone underneath this staircase and you'll see it run away. Next, move over to the entrance hall by Juggernog and you'll see it underneath these two chairs right here up against the wall. Now progress into the castle and over by the Stag Sword Knight, you'll find the next rat underneath the pallet over here on the left side. Our next rat is in the alchemical lab, so just make your way over towards where Stamina Up is, and you'll find that rat underneath the bench in the corner of the room. Our next rat can be found in the dungeon over by this cell block to the right of Quick Revive and to the right of Craft, and you'll find him in the cell right there. We freed him, yes. Anyways, the next one is in the Undercroft. It's over here by the mystery box location where that hole in the wall is. You'll see him run away. And now we can move on to our last rat. If you make your way back to the alchemical lab, you'll find it underneath this tablet area in the corner of the room, and that'll be all 10 rats. Once you've collected all of them, make your way to Pack-a-Punch. If you notice that one is missing, then double back and find the one that you were missing. But when you're ready, give the rats their last meal and feed them that cheese wheel that we collected earlier. And once they all blow up and die, then we can collect the loot that they turned into. So this will usually give you a pretty good setup, but also it gives you a cool little crown that you can wear. We're not sure if this crown, once equipped, is going to allow you to do something else in the map. At the moment, it's just a cosmetic item that you can show off to your teammates. But if you happen to find something that you can do with this crown, then let me know and I'll update the description of this video. The next side Easter egg allows us to get PhD Flopper for free as well as a bunch of points. You need to collect 3 bottles, and our first bottle is going to be underneath this table next to the couch in the Undercroft. The second bottle you can get is in the corner of the room near the dragon sword statue, and it'll be underneath this table. Our third and final bottle will be in the Stamina Up room over here on this bottom shelf across from the perk machine. Once you have all 3 bottles, you can make your way over to the tavern in spawn, and then you'll notice that your bottles are on the counter. Now to activate this, you can hold interact underneath the blue bottle. I think it's actually an item to the right with the tray, but either way, just hold interact in that general area. If it's not working, go ahead and crouch. But once you've activated it, you'll notice that the bottles will start glowing and you'll be able to serve the zombies. You will have to round it if there are no zombies, as this will need zombies. So the better you do on this Easter egg, the better your rewards are. You can actually get some really high tier money loot as well. So just try to be as fast as possible. Don't mess up, otherwise you will not get the perk. But you just want to serve the zombies accordingly with their colors. After a few minutes, it's time for last call, so you'll cut the zombies off and you'll get your free PhD Flopper. Now let's move on to our next side Easter egg. Our next one is the chessboard Easter egg. This one is like a Guardian or a Civil Protector or the fan favorite Mega Stuffy. But what you need to do is find a White Knight piece. Now this is going to be in 3 random spots. Our first one is in the spawn room in the cellar on that shelf. Our second one is going to be in the dining hall passage over here on this table. This is just to the right of the dragon statue that you upgrade the sword at. And then our third and final spot will be over by Elemental Pop in the ramparts, where you can find it on the table up against the wall. Once you've located your piece, go ahead and checkmate your opponent here by placing it on the table in the sitting rooms. This will cause him to flip the board in frustration and cause a lockdown. At this point, we can just survive the lockdown, and when you're done, you'll get rewarded with your Knight Guardian that'll follow you around in a comical way where he only moves as a knight would in chess. I thought that was a really cool detail that they made him move just like that piece. But anyways, this guy's going to follow you around for about 3 rounds and crush zombies and just kind of keep you alive. This is the Mega Stuffy equivalent on this map, so hope you guys enjoy it, but now it's time to move on to our next side Easter egg. This next one is only possible if you're playing as Maya, so starting on round 12 and later, you can come over here and interact with this radio, which will then allow you to have access to the room that's right beside it. Once you've interacted with it though, you're going to be in a lockdown, so make sure that you're prepared before going into this, as it is a lot of enemies that you're going to have to kill. There's going to be a mini boss that you have to kill that's called Laurent. This is all storyline related to Maya and Terminus's Easter egg, so if you don't know what's going on, maybe go complete the Terminus Easter egg first, and then come back and follow up. But once you've killed every single enemy, at this this point, the last enemy, Laurent, is going to drop a key, which you can use to escape this room. After doing so, you'll follow the stairs down and you'll activate a cutscene. So I'm not going to play the cutscene, I'll let you enjoy that in game, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one because this one's a really cool storyline Easter egg. I don't think we've ever had something quite like this as a side Easter egg, so I'm really excited to see them trying new things. Once the cutscene is finished, you're also going to notice you're going to have some loot on the floor. This is going to guarantee give you a legendary GS45, so that's a pretty cool Easter egg as well. Anyways, let's move on to our next side Easter egg. The next one is the Wishing Well Bank Easter egg. We finally have a way to share points with our teammates. Now this has two main functions. You can either deposit money, throw a grenade down into it, and then it'll spew out all the points that you've deposited, or you can go ahead and throw a grenade down in it and it'll just give you about 1,000 points. In order to get points given to you, you need to throw a frag grenade down the well, and then it's going to take maybe 1 to about 4 grenades to actually trigger this Easter egg. I thought it was broken when I first did it because it wasn't working. However, after throwing multiple frags, it finally started to work. Now for the main function of throwing your points down and then getting it back via a frag grenade to share points with your teammates, you hold interact on the well and you'll deposit 100 essence at a time. Now to get your points back, make sure you're on a pest round or a vermin round, whatever you want to call it, and then at that point you can throw your grenade down, at which point it'll spew out all the money that you've donated, allowing your teammates to pick this up. Also, a piece of advice is make sure you do this on a double points if you have one, or profit sharing. You could even stack all of it and you could all make money. But I promise, it's not a Ponzi scheme, this is gonna work. Anyways, that is it for the Wishing Well Bank Easter egg. Let's move on to our next side Easter egg. This next one is a way to get all 9 perks right before the boss fight, essentially. It's a free perk Easter egg. And this can be done right after you complete the step with the tavern numbers where you input the symbols on the wall over here in the Undercroft. So assuming you're at that point, this is pretty close to the end of the Easter egg. You can then take the incantations that you've built in the Easter egg to then melee the wall with each incantation. You'll know you're doing this correctly when you melee it and you'll see the top row light up with the blue symbols. And then when you do the next one, the next row will light up and so on. Once you've done this with all 4 incantations, you'll then be in a lockdown in the Undercroft room for the next 3 rounds. Once you finish all 3 rounds, then you'll notice that the loot will start spawning over in the corner of the room, which will allow you to get a free perk. It'll also give you a bunch of other loot as well. I got a ray gun, I got a bunch of stuff that I wanted right before the boss fight. So I definitely advise that you do this almost as if it's part of the main Easter egg. I don't see why you wouldn't. It's a very easy Easter egg to pull off for very high tier loot. And that's going to wrap up our free perk Easter egg. We still have several more to go, so let's move on to our next side Easter egg. Our next one is a series of Easter eggs, as it's the power-ups you can find around the map. Starting with full power, if you go to the dining hall, you'll notice it's on the roof over there if you're facing towards spawn. It's pretty easy to spot. And our next one is our max ammo, so head over towards Speed Cola is near spawn, and you'll see it in that window right there. Now we can move on to our next one, which is in the Undercroft. This is the bonus points, and it's hidden behind the couch, making this the 3rd item found on the couch. I don't know, they really like this couch. Moving on, we have our double points. This one can be found in the sitting rooms. If you make your way over to this window, you'll see it right there on that shelf. And now we can move on to our next one, which is the max armor. If you make your way to the entrance hall and look at the middle rafter, it's not on the lower part. You'll actually see the shining piece of metal at the very top of the beam. Just shoot it and you'll get your max armor. The next one is for the nuke. It's actually a little bit tricky to get. It's located on the roof of the building on the ramparts. I use my GS45s to make this a little bit easier and just fired a couple shots until I got it. You can do this with a grenade or the ray gun, anything that does splash damage. Also, at the moment, insta-kill is not found, but we are still hunting, and there might be a potential fire sale, but that is all the power-ups, so now let's move on to our next one. So this side Easter egg involves the cannon. We all know that you shoot the first shot to access the castle, and then afterwards it'll rotate back to allow you to fast travel back to spawn when you climb inside of it. At this point, there is more to this. You can collect a blowtorch and then use it to repair the cannon to actually allow you to fast travel to other areas. So let's look at where that blowtorch is and how you do this. Alright, so once you make your way inside the castle to the dining hall where Vulture 8 is, you can come down here and look at this can right here and you'll find the blowtorch. After that, we just need one more part, which is going to be a gear that we can find in spawn. Once you have the blowtorch, go ahead and make your way back to spawn where you're going to find this gear inside of the toppled over fruit boxes, and now we have everything we need to repair the cannon. Once you get to the cannon, you can go ahead and insert the gear and then also use the blowtorch to mend it, and that'll allow you to rotate the cannon back and forth. This will rotate between the spawn side and also the castle side. This allows you to fast travel towards the dining hall where the swords are. This is a really good way to get around the map. I was hoping that there'd be something more to this cannon, so it's really cool to see that we can actually rotate it. As for other locations, we're not 100% sure if this is a thing yet, but at the moment we at least have these 2 spots. There's also one more part of this. So starting on round 20, if you fire yourself in the cannon towards the dining hall, the swords room, you'll be able to get a free power up that spawns in on the roof. And I think it's every 10 rounds that it updates, but you can see it from the courtyard that you're in when you're in the dining hall, and you can check check and see if you have a power up. That's going to wrap up the cannon Easter egg, and now we can move on to our next side Easter egg. And now that you know how to rotate the cannon properly, we can actually move on to our next one, which is the fireplace, and this will come in handy for this Easter egg. So go ahead and rotate it back towards spawn if it's not already, to make this a little bit easier and save us some time. Because this is a time-based trial, so we need to make sure we get prepared for this Easter egg. So to start off, this works by lighting 4 fireplaces around the map in a timely manner before they extinguish the flame. In order to light them, you need to use Molotovs or Napalm Burst or the Fire Sword, really anything with fire. However, I recommend Molotovs. These are the best items. So make sure that you have 3 Molotovs crafted and have salvage to build a 4th one. The last thing I advise you do is buy stamina up, as this will help you get around the map faster, obviously. But now that we are ready to light all 4 fireplaces, the order that I think is easiest is to go from the dining hall towards the alchemical lab, towards sitting rooms, and then back towards spawn. So our first fireplace is right here. You can light that one. Our second one is right here in the alchemical lab. And then the third one is in the sitting rooms next to stamina. Once you've hit this one though, your next objective is either to craft another Molotov or rely on your fire sword if you wanted to do that and save on salvage. While you're running back towards the cannon to get to spawn, there is a crafting table next to Juggernog that you can get your 4th Molotov if you wanted to do it that way. Now make your way to the cannon and launch yourself back towards spawn where we can get our 4th fireplace. Also, if you haven't done this already, there is an intel sheet on the roof that you can grab as soon as you land on the roof. But anyways, here's the 4th fireplace in the tavern next to the armory, right where you land from the cannon. And if you do it correctly and in the right amount of time, you'll see these fire orbs get launched out of the fireplace that will then go track down zombies and start killing them and protecting you. Every couple rounds you can repeat this, which makes everybody think that there might be more to this Easter egg, as maybe we have to do something when the fire orbs are done. If not, we can just repeat this step and continue on. So if you have any ideas on this and where it might lead, or you find something, let me know in the comments. Alright, that is going to wrap up all these side Easter eggs that we've solved at this point. I do expect there to be at least 4 or 5 more on this map, so I want to share my best ideas for potential Easter eggs. That way, if you want to hunt for yourself, you at least have a direction to go in. Alright, so the first thing that I think is absolutely going to be a side Easter egg is the clock that you can find on the tower in spawn. Clocks have been used since the dawn of time when it comes to Treyarch Easter eggs. We've seen it in the Giant and Horizon, especially since we had one in Horizon, and this is kind of their second castle map. I definitely expect to see more to this clock. It's also likely that the bell would be used that's inside the tower. Maybe we have to chime it or do something to ring it. I don't think they'll copy the exact blueprint as Horizon, but I do expect that we'll have to change the time in some format. I do want to test the cannon a little bit more since it does point kind of towards the bell tower. We might be able to load something into it or launch ourselves into the bell tower in some form. So I want to test more with the cannon, but that's all the ideas I have for the clock tower. So let's move on to my next potential lead. This one's simple. It's just the radio tower that's on top of the ramparts near where you do the lightning sword upgrade, as well as the free nuke power-up Easter egg. The reason I mention this one is that Treyarch seems to love this radio tower. They've used it in a D Machina Easter egg on Cold War. They used it in our Terminus side Easter egg for the Meteor, so it's a likely candidate for an Easter egg. Now, I've already tested shooting it with dead wire and doing the obvious things, but I haven't tested something that's similar to the lightning rod on this map where you have to shoot a box and then it actually electrifies something, so it could be something like that. Anyways, I just wanted to point this out because it is in a prominent area of the map, and so there might be more to this. Moving on, there's a mechanic that we all saw in the trailer, which is where we throw a Molotov into the oil trap here and light it on fire, which could just be something that we utilize to make it easier to survive. But since we haven't seen it in the main Easter egg steps or the side Easter egg stuff, I wanted to point this out because it reminds me a lot of the Ancient Evil acid trap, where we had to run through with our spear to get poison on it. So this could be something that we light our swords on fire and do something with that. So I just wanted to point that out because this could be a potential step to a side Easter egg. And my last idea uses a mechanic that we have on the sword. It doesn't matter which sword, but it's the parry feature. We only have one enemy type that actually throws items at us, which is the parasites. And if you parry the parasites, it'll shoot their shots right back at them. And despite this being a pretty cool mechanic, I found it interesting because it doesn't auto-lock onto the parasites when you do this, meaning that it's probably not just for the parasites. If they wanted to make this a feature, they would just have it take out the parasites. But because we can aim the shot and aim it somewhere else, I thought that this might come in handy for a side Easter egg where we could aim it and shoot it through a window or break a wall or do something along those lines. This is one of those mechanics where you probably barely even use it, so I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being something for a side Easter egg. Alright, and that's going to wrap up all these solved Easter eggs, all the potential leads that I have at this point. I'm going to keep you guys updated as things come out. I do expect that in the next couple days, we should find probably about 4 or 5 more, I imagine. But anyways, if you guys have any ideas or any leads that you found, you just want help solving it, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to look into ideas and test things as I'm hunting these Easter eggs. If you're looking to hunt with other people or get help with the main Easter egg or just talk about zombies in general, I have my Discord community linked below that you're more than welcome to join. And with that, that's going to wrap up the video, so thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Absoulem, and I'll see you in the next video.